It is 7:31 p.m. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley Broom. Welcome to the regular session meeting for Mayor and City Council for the City of College Park. We have a quorum with council members Allen, Clay, and Gabe present. I believe Councilman Taylor will be joining us shortly. And our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance, to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our second item of business is the invocation. That will be done by Chaplain Walker this evening.
Chaplain Walker, you're unmuted.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us pray. Almighty God, as we gather for this city council meeting, we invoke your presence and we invoke your openness to listen to our reflections as to why we invoke your presence in our civil deliberations. Help us all to know and or remember that it is your law of love and order and care that forms the basis of our laws, our ethics, and our social order. Without love and order and understanding, we are limited in our common work tonight. So help us to pull back the veils that obscure our better reasons and better concerns for one another and our interest in becoming a more inclusive society. We give thanks for our mayor and city councilmen who seek to understand and discern our city needs and to improve our social orders. We ask that you guide them in their deliberations, and we give you thanks for their work. We also give thanks for all city workers who work to implement our social desires and directions for a more whole and beneficial life in College Park. We ask that you provide a steady hand in the days to come and in our deliberations tonight, but especially in our time of tension with national elections. Help us to hold hands with one another, even though there may be political differences. Assist us to love one another during this process, not judge or shame, but realize that we are all one in your name, in the name of faith, hope, and love. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. All right. The second item is additions, deletions, or amendments or changes to the agenda.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
earlier we communicated relative to the community development block grant agreement.
Yes.
So I would like to recommend that becomes new item 6B, other business.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Is there a motion?
I move to include that item in the agenda.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Thank you, gentlemen. That's unanimous. Appreciate it. The agenda will be amended accordingly. Item 3A, presentation of minutes. It's the regular session minutes on October 5th. I had one update. I think the change on that agenda, so that'd be line 22, actually. That was me adding that. That wasn't Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything else to add?
Yes, I have several.
Okay.
On packet page 9, line 220. Councilman Clay said so. Our total usage is around 35 or so. So if we add the 9 megawatts, not had the 9 megawatts, add the 9 megawatts. Line 220, packet page 9. And I've got a couple more here. Packet page 14. This is line 432, but probably should start on 431. The parenthetical expression, because I have gone to a few Ward 4 events, has anybody had to pay to go to those events? I think it should read, it would be a little clearer, because I have gone to a few Ward 4 events, close parentheses. Has anybody had to pay to go to those events? In other words, don't start a new sentence, just run it all together. Scratch the capital H on has and the period after the parenthetical expression.
Yes, sir. Do noted. And
one more I've got on packet page 33, line 1321. And it should be Brownfield, not Brownfield. Oh.
it's Brownsfield, sir.
It should be Brownfield rather than Brownsfield. Right now it has an S after Brown. It should be just Brownfield. And that's it.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Hearing none. Is there a motion?
I move to approve as discussed.
All right. Is there a second?
A second.
Councilman Allen, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that passes unanimously. Item 3B, the minutes from the workshop session held October 5th.
I move to approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. Thank you, gentlemen. That is unanimously approved. We have no proclamations, resolutions, plaques, or announcements this evening, I believe. So we're moving on to item number 5, remarks to citizens. Ms. Thornton.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. We only have one comment tonight, and that comment is from Mr. Tom Coleman. He's at 1993 Cambridge Avenue, College Park. And his statement reads, Mayor and Council, as you are aware, our city has experienced past bouts with reckless driving on streets by motorcycles, three-wheelers, and muscle cars. Atlanta has had similar problems and now has a wide publicized police crackdown. In the early hours of last Sunday, cars cut numerous donuts on Rugby and White just off Main. What steps are we taking to stop this dangerous driving on our streets? Are we taking similar steps as Atlanta to prevent these events from moving here? Thanks for your efforts on this. Tom Coleman.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Thornton. And I know Councilman Allen, you had expressed some
Yes.
an opportunity for. Go ahead.
I just think that we need to take the time to open up the citizens' comments, like we have an open meeting and citizens can come in and we actually can hear what the citizens have to say. We can see their face on the screen if we can, and just go ahead and open those up like we have the other.
And from what I understand, I don't think there's any objection from. And I think at the beginning of this process, when we were all getting accustomed to handling meetings via Zoom, I think we had some concerns about folks and their ability to kind of Zoom bomb the situation. But I think Mr. Hicks, you've got that under control now. And so if we are certainly opening up during public hearings and allowing people to speak. And so I think that we should be able to employ the same procedures in terms of public comment as well. Is that correct, Mr. Hicks?
That's correct. And, and if somebody would like to have it read,
we still maintain that option.
Submit that in advance, and that could be read. But I think it's time to open that back up.
I would wholeheartedly agree. I do think that one thing that we have added is that your request to speak, your sign up, has to be in by 7 o'clock, and I think that's an appropriate. We're not necessarily looking for a volleying back and forth here, but certainly giving people an opportunity to speak, like they do at when we have public hearings. I think is certainly, we want to make sure we hear what people have to say. So,
And Mayor, I would agree with that. I think now that we're used to it, I think we can handle it adequately. The one thing I would suggest that we have somewhat departed from was back before the first of the year and before we got into the COVID-19 situation. I think the policy we were following at that time was that we would restrict comments to 3 minutes each, and there would be a total of up to 9 minutes on a subject. I think we've gone a little larger than that, and I think I would suggest, because I think we'll get more participation, since we have a large number of people, not just a handful attending a physical council meeting like we used to have. We have a large number of people. Anyone can comment. You sign up before 7 o'clock, but I think we ought to reinforce the previous limit of 3 minutes per comment, a total of 3 comments, no more than 9 minutes on a subject, and that we don't really respond to the comments. We take the comments and that's it. So that would be my suggestion, in addition to allowing people to come in during public comment.
I still think we kind of, I hate to do away with spontaneous comments, if it falls within the 9 minutes or whatever, and somebody thinks of a comment and somebody would like to get it and they don't get it in by 7, are we keeping them from saying what they would like to say to the city and to the council?
well, I think the idea on one particular topic is if, let's bring up stop signs, for instance. If we've got 15 people who are in favor of having a stop sign at a particular intersection, then, but we've got one that's opposed to it, then I think the idea would be that we would take whatever those comments are, we would take whoever shows up first.
Right.
And if everyone's talking about the same issue,
but what if that triggers another issue from somebody that did not sign up by 7 o'clock? Are we?
Yeah, I think Councilman Allen's point is that the need to jump in, even though you haven't scheduled it before 7. You're not suggesting, Ken, that you go beyond 9 minutes or you have a whole string of people. All you're saying is if you happen to think of something as a result of someone else's comment that might be on a different subject.
Exactly. I would hate to keep some of those people's comments out. We can try different ways, but I think we need to open it up.
Well, I think that this is something that in the past I have seen where we sort of like get people who sort of like have organic comments off of someone else's comment. But I think what that leads us down the road to is what Councilman Clay was saying that we do want to avoid, which is sort of reactions on the spot on particular topics. so, I'm happy to continue to discuss it to see what makes sense for us. But certainly let's open it up in terms of allowing people to speak and in person as opposed to having things read. But having comments read is certainly an option as well.
All right,
So-
Mayor, are you comfortable with limiting it to 9 minutes per topic and going with 3 minutes per comment?
Yes, and Ms. Moore has been doing that. She's been setting her timer when she's been reading comments. Certainly. So I'm definitely comfortable with that.
Somebody will have to be timekeeper.
And one of the things that we have to, we may end up, if we don't have some idea of who's going to be speaking, we do have the possibility of Zoom bombing
Yes.
if people are popping back in.
Yes,
So
we
that's
can-
another.
That's a good point. Very good
So
point.
I think it behooves us to make sure that our meeting is run in a secure way to have folks sign up, and we know at least generally what their topic is. I mean, we ask that of people who walk into the meeting when it's live. So
Right.
if that happens and we even 7:15, but we need to know that we need to have an idea of who's showing up.
And we should capture their name and address for the record. We
Absolutely.
always have done that in the past.
So are you good with the pre-sign up that you have to sign up? I mean, whether it's
Not really. I like to, I think we can monitor it and we can keep it out of, but I like,
Councilman Allen, we would do that anyway, though. We would want people to sign up beforehand.
We do. We want people
We
to
make people to
up.
sign up beforehand anyway. So
But if something were to, I have, when I was out, I was not on council, I would get up sometime because somebody said something that brought something else to mind and I thought it was worth saying. And so I got up. I would hate to put down somebody, not put them down, but squelch somebody from saying something if they wanted to say something to mayor and council. I guess that's where I'm going. Even
Fair
though it's spontaneous, I think we can monitor it. And if it gets a little bit out of hand, we can change it. We can change it back. We can try different things. Maybe we put Mr. Hickson to, or someone to set up some guidelines and we do it for next time, I guess.
okay, I think in terms of IT, I think they would prefer, Mr. Hicks, correct me if I'm wrong, to know who's speaking before they do it.
Yes, Madam Mayor, if we could have them sign up, then I can control the portal. Then maybe we can open it up for those who didn't sign up after everybody else has signed up. So that way I can control who gets on the portal based on who signed up. Because Zoom bombing is a concern, but we want to open it up. If they could just sign up, then I'll know who's on there. Then I can open up the portal.
Well, there's no reason that you couldn't, someone who decided they'd like to speak 20 minutes into the period, they could send an email to you. And so they would put their name, their address, their topic, and you could then, when everyone else is done, they could be a given time to speak.
Right. I can coordinate that with the city clerk's office. She and I can get together and come up with a scenario on allowing people to speak who have not signed up. We could get it working.
I like that, yes.
Okay, Councilman Taylor, Councilman Gay, what do you think?
I agree with it. I want to. I think it makes sense for people to get an opportunity to say what they need to say, and like Council Allen was saying, maybe another conversation will trigger something else. So I'm cool with it.
All right. Councilman Gay?
Well, I'm okay with it. I do like the quorum. I know a lot of public meetings I go to, they really like for you to sign up. You can say what you want, but they really want you to sign up so they could have some structure and
Yeah,
the agenda.
I'm with you on that. I think that it lends to better structure. I don't know I'm not sure what we've missed by, like, obviously people speaking, but in terms of if you don't know 30 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever the case is before the meeting, if there's an issue that you wanted to bring up with the council, then maybe you wait till the next time. I'm not saying you can't speak, but I mean, I think that we have to have, I think it lends itself to decorum, but
We said if you come in, you would like to speak, if you sign up, you get 3 minutes. If you do not sign up and you would like to say something, you get 1 minute, or I don't know, you know. I think it's something that we can
well, let's continue to talk about it. I mean, this is, you know, we'll consult with Ms. Moore. I think she's on vacation, so why don't we keep on brainstorming about this, but just know that we will be opening it up for citizens who actually speak at the next meeting.
Right.
Fair enough.
Madam Mayor, I'll be
Yes, sir.
practicing some other features on the back end too.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Appreciate it.
Thank you all
Thank
very
you.
much. That was my
Appreciate it.
remark as a citizen.
You didn't sign up.
You're right.
All right. Does anyone have any questions on any adopted ordinances and recently adopted ordinances and resolutions?
No.
All right. So we're moving on to item 7A. It's a public
Ma'am,
hearing. Yes, sir.
6B.
Thank you so very, very much.
You're welcome very much. I
It
can
is-
introduce it if you like.
Please.
Yes, ma'am. And per direction to authorize this addition, Mayor Motley Broom, you actually received a DocuSign material from the Fulton County Department of Community Development for the financial support, community development block grant financial support for the administration of the city's recently initiated utilities assistance program. And that's $500,000. We actually initiated the administration of this program going back a couple months now, and we were simply awaiting the agreement for execution. So this is simply the recommendation for mayor and city council or city council to offer its approval so that that can be executed quickly.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Heard Councilman Allen first on that one, but Councilman Taylor with a close second on the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Madam Mayor, I have
Yes,
a
sir.
suggestion.
Yes, sir.
There are various aspects. I just reviewed the doc. I didn't have time to review a 45-page document
Understood.
2 hours before the meeting, but I spot read a few places. And it looked to me like there were various aspects of it. For example, people who have been economically impacted could apply for funds, et cetera, et cetera. Can we have Gerald or someone put together a explanation of what is available, if anything is directly available by application from the public? And again, I didn't have a chance to read it, so I'm only guessing that that is the case.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Moore.
Go ahead, Mayor, please.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I yield, please. Please.
I was going to say I didn't fully understand the question. So if you did and you were ready to act on it, go for it.
Okay. I was simply suggesting to Councilman Clay, his request is fairly reasonable. So as a result of tonight's authorization, we will simply assemble finance and accounting, customer service, and communications to direct an education process relative to the opportunities available. So that is fair and duly noted, and we will.
Terrence, can I add, there is a video and Councilman Gay did use it at his Ward 4 meeting.
In addition to that, yes.
In addition to the video and the question and answer and all the information online?
We're simply expanding upon that. Yes, yes, ma'am, of course.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Gerald?
That was Terrence talking. That was me.
I
No,
heard,
there was someone else who was
It was
speaking. as
Jackson
well.
Myers,
I
actually.
think it was Jackson.
Jackson, what did you say?
You're handling it, but we do have all that information.
Yes.
There is a lot of information online and we do have the video as well.
Then we just need to publicize it.
And that's my response, Councilman Clay. We simply need to take that information and create a publicization process, which we will begin this week.
And at your in your last bill, Councilman Clay, you should have received a document on that as well, a flyer.
There was a flyer enclosed about. I'm sorry, Ms. Brad. Ms.
No, you're good.
Bradley.
You're fine. So we did send that out to all utility customers.
Yes, to the utility customers. I saw the flyer,
Yes.
but isn't there more to it? than
No, not
just-
right now. Just the utility customers.
Okay, well then we got it covered.
Yes.
I had a comment. It's only a comment. It's not to change anything, but I noticed as the affirmative action, the EOC piece still in their contract, and I thought that we couldn't put those in contracts.
Mr. Denmark, I presume that Fulton County has done some form of study to show that there's a disparity.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what we've historically talked about, the disparity study that Fulton County paid a formidable sum to have done allows them to have a program like that, because they have a factual and legal predicate for that type of program, whereas communities that have not done a disparity study like us would not have that.
All right, any other questions? All right, item 7A. It's a public hearing to receive comments on the final adoption of the proposed millage rate for fiscal year 2020-2021. This is the final of the 3 public hearings scheduled to receive public comments. Am I turning this over to Mr. Moore, Ms. Fleur Bradley?
Ma'am, I'll take it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And this is simply the authorization of the proposed millage rates. There are 20 mills for the hotel district, special district, of course, and then for all others to maintain the millage rate of 12.619 mills. And we've talked about this fairly thoroughly during both the September 21st and the October 5th regular city council or workshop meetings, respectively, in which public hearings were conducted at that time to meet the associated legal requirements contained by the city of College Park and the state of Georgia. So with that, this is simply the opportunity for mayor and city council to engage in final adoption. And the recommendation is to approve the 3 millage rates respectively.
All right. So for those folks who might want to engage in public comment or who might want to comment during this public hearing, the way to do that is to go to collegeparkga.com. If you go to government and you go to council meetings, you'll see some information down below. And it says public notice, and it talks about our next council meeting. And then if you keep on going down, it says public hearings. And there is a Zoom link that you can click. And you can enter our meeting. When you do so, you can raise your hand, and Mr. Hicks will acknowledge you if you wish to speak on the proposed millage rate for the current fiscal year. So, Mr. Hicks, is there anyone who wishes to comment that you see?
No, Madam Mayor, but I've opened up the mic for all the attendees.
Okay. If there's anyone who would wish to comment? And give it a little bit of extra time so people might be able to find that link. By the way, I declare the public hearing open. I think I need to do that as well, correct? Yes. All right. Yes, it's open.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
No hands yet, no one yet.
Okay. Anyone on council have anything to add in regard to the public to the millage rate? All right, hearing nothing from you either, gentlemen. All right, Mr. Hicks, going once, going twice.
No one yet.
All right, I declare the public hearing closed.
I move to approve the millage rate as proposed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 8A is consideration of an action on a request for approval of an easement agreement between the City of College Park and the property owner DC Property Holdings LLC, Mr. Drake Craig, located at 1967 West John Calvin Avenue. And I believe that this is an issue that Mr. Mason is involved with. Is that correct?
That is correct. Good evening, Madam Mayor, City
Good
Council. This item is to execute, for recommendation to execute an easement agreement with Mr. Drake Craig. This will allow us to install a roughly 165 feet of water line pipe to kind of loop the system on John Calvin. As you know, in the background information, is stated that there's been water quality issues they've been experiencing along the west portion of John Calvin Avenue. And in order for us to try to resolve that issue is to loop our system, and that will require going through Mr. Drake's property. He is willing to grant the city easement to allow us to do this work per mayor and council approval tonight.
Does anyone have any questions?
I just like to add a comment that this is apparently not a new problem. Apparently it's been going on for some period of time, and I guess people haven't really complained, or at least not complained to me. And I became aware of it several months ago. I talked to Mike, and I realized that it was a dead end water connection. And Mike said that was the problem with the water was the fact that there wasn't enough flow through the pipe because it was at the end of the line there. So this is a solution to that problem. And I think it's a good thing that needs to be done.
All right. Anyone else?
And that's covered under the budget?
Yes, sir, the work. We'll be performing the work in-house. Public Works will be doing the work.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I'll move to approve if no one else has any other comments.
All right. Is there a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilman Taylor, did I hear you?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. All right, that's unanimous. Item 8B is consideration of an action on a request for approval of the renewal of a service agreement with Windstream Enterprise for existing services at all city locations. This renewal comes with a 3-month free service for a savings of $17,305.43. Don't all jump at this.
Well, I will move to approve it. If Mr. Hicks doesn't want to go into any more detail about it, I had some questions on it. I got my questions answered. And I think we need to do it.
Yes, just one comment. Mike Mason and I, Councilman Gay and the rest of the council, you'll be happy to know we found that circuit at 2770 Charlestown Drive. It's a 1.54 megabit circuit for our SCADA for our water department. So Mike and I worked it out. We got it.
Very good.
Good.
Yep.
All right. So does anyone have any questions for Mr. Hicks in regard to this item? All right. Is there a motion?
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Gay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Sounded unanimous to me, gentlemen. Thank you. Item 9A, consideration of an action on a request for a 6-month extension to the submittal requirement for a final development plan at 5391 West Fayetteville Road in the PD Plan Development Zoning. This is a Ward 3 issue, and I believe Ms. Alexander would be the one to take this one on.
Yes, good evening, Madam Mayor and members of council. This item responds to the action that you took in April where you annexed and rezoned the property at 5391 West Fayetteville Road. It was a planned development zoning. The zoning code has a provision in this district to not only come before you once for the rezoning decision, but it requires that the applicant come back within 6 months with a final development plan for you all to review at a public hearing. It's unique in the zoning districts that we have. As I understand, this was a provision to address several years ago where you were concerned about rezonings happening and then projects not being developed. And it was a way that you wanted to ensure or incentivize applicants to move forward with projects. This is a very short time frame from zoning to construction to require that final plans are provided before you within 6 months. And I say that because not only do you have this request in front of you to make this extension, the zoning code allows for 1 6-month extension. So it says, first of all, it says they have to come back to you within 6 months from the original rezoning. And then it says, well, if they can't do that, if the applicant can't do that, you can grant them, the city council can grant them a one-time 6-month extension. And it limits it, the zoning code limits it to 1 time. So we're here before you on behalf of the applicant I'm sure is on the line, to request the 6-month. Of course, during COVID, things have been delayed, of course, but also in general, a 6-month is a short time frame. So we're coming before you to request action on this item. We are recommending approval of the extension request. And then I would like to come before you at a future date with an amendment to this part of the code, as it's puts a barrier for investment and can slow things down when you have to have 2 sets of additional public hearings. So thank you for your consideration.
Does anyone have any questions?
I move for approval.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, Councilman Gay, are you on the line? I think he may have just gotten in the wrong meeting. So he is not counted in this vote. But it is unanimous for the 3 that are here: Councilman Clay, Councilman Allen, Councilman Taylor.
Madam Mayor, I'm looking for him.
I think he, I just got an email that he joined the executive session. So can you reach out to him to get him back?
I will, thanks.
Thank you. All right. The next item on the agenda. Consideration of an action on a request for approval of fiscal year 2019-2020 budget closeout. Ms. Floyd Bradley.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The budget closeout is amending fiscal year 2019-2020's budget, which is last year's budget, for several funds: the General Fund, CDBG Fund, the Grants Fund, the Tax Allocation District Fund, T-SPLOSH Fund, Hospitality Fund, the Power Fund, Golf Course Fund, Sanitation Fund, Arena Fund, and the FAA Fund. And what the budget closeout is simply doing is just ensuring that our year-end appropriations cover our year-end expenses and that we're compliant with our budgetary level of control, which is at the department level. And with that, with the general fund, I am projecting that we will experience a estimated a little bit under $1 million impact reduction to the general fund balance. And at this time, I can answer any questions that anyone may have.
Well, Althea, you already answered all my questions, and you corrected the summary where we thought we were going to draw down reserve by 1.4 million, and you realize that we could find another way to only draw it down a little under $1 million.
Correct.
So I think the only thing I want to highlight is the fact that people out in TV land, if you will, that are watching this, that we had more revenue and we had more expenses, but the expenses exceeded the revenue across all funds by roughly $1 million. And so that reduces our carryover from one year to the next. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's all I wanted to say.
Let me just mention that does not mean that we have plenty of money to spend here in the city. July, August, September were very, very low months, so we're having to deal with that as well.
Amen.
But I just like to to say we're quite lucky to have somebody like Althea and her crew here to work on this. They've done an excellent job. I've worked with a lot of budgets in my life and had some questions, and she has answered every single question we have. So I just want to thank her very much for the job that she does.
Day
Thank
in,
you. You're
day
welcome.
out.
You're welcome.
Yes. All right. So any other questions? Mr. Hicks?
You need a motion for approval?
Madam Mayor, you call me?
I did, but I answered my own question. So thank you.
Okay.
All right. So we need to go ahead and approve that. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Taylor. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. That is unanimous, and Councilman Gay is back with us. So that is all four. Thank you very much. Mr. Denmark, anything to report?
Nothing this evening, Madam Mayor.
All right. Mr. Moore?
Other than the rudimentary property taxpayer delinquent report and that for utility customers accounts, nothing further. Otherwise, staff is in position to address any questions or concerns you may have in those regards.
All right. Anyone have any questions on 12A or 12B?
I got mine answered.
All right. Let's see. We are at the report of mayor and council. Councilman Clay?
The only thing I wanted to report was that we have unbagged the stop signs just recently that we approved. They sat for roughly 30 days. I think that was the requirement to let people know something was happening there. And I got a response from two constituents indicating that they felt that they were really happy. They felt that the traffic had calmed and that it was less noisy. That was sort of a general summary of the couple comments. And so considering that you tend to hear more complaints than you do positive things on everything, and that's not just city council, that's life. I'd say so far things are looking pretty good. That's all I had for my comments.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Taylor?
I don't have anything.
All right. Councilman Allen?
A couple of things. First thing, everybody, please get out and vote. Early voting is there. It's very easy, very simple. The GICC, it doesn't take very long at all. So please get out and vote. I'd like to talk a little bit, and Councilman Gay has mentioned this before, but I'm seeing an awful lot of trash out on the road. I'm seeing trash around Godby and up and down some of the streets. Some of the dumpsters and some of the apartments are overflowing. We just need to make sure we're taking a look at some of these things and keep our city clean. There's going to be a youth speaking contest on October the 24th for kids in elementary school. And if you'd like to sign up, if you'd like to get into the speaking contest, you can go to collegeparkga.com and find out all the information and please come and speak. It's going to be a time for them to get up and elementary school have that chance. There's going to be on October 21st, there's going to be a Clipper sculpture art, I guess, exhibition. They're going to open the Clipper sculpture at Godby and Clipper Drive. They're going to start the installation. It's going to be about a 30 or 40 foot sculpture. So everybody please come and take a look at that. I would like to bring up one thing, and I'd like to get it on the agenda so we can talk about it next council meeting. I think everybody during the last election and everything else has talked about term limits, and maybe it's time to bring that up and have a discussion on that at the next council. So I'd like to see that put on the agenda just to talk about. And that's all I have.
Sounds good to me. All right. Councilman Gay?
Well, thank you all for all of the hard work and the value you bring to the city. I just had two things. I wanted to publicly congratulate the economic development, mayor and council, and all those who work on the 6 West. I was unable to attend the groundbreaking, but I did view it. It happened on the day that the children went back to school, so I had to take the children to school, but congratulations. And we had a town hall meeting, and the only comment that came out of it was if we could get an approximate time when there may be speed humps on Lakeshore and Herschel.
Okay.
The speed humps are manufactured as they're ordered. I think we're looking at probably another 5 to 6 weeks, it looks like. And as soon as they get in, we'll get with Public Works to get those things installed.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's all you have, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. All right. First, I want to thank the Historic College Park Neighborhood Association for a fantastic yard sale. It was so good that my mother brought a truckload of things in a Suburban from Birmingham to sell at this yard sale. So thank you so much for the opportunity for us to sell our things and my mom to sell things on the other side of our yard. Actually, it was just a great opportunity to see neighbors. I know that a lot of us miss connecting with each other, and it was a beautiful day for it. And I think it was a good time for everyone. I also want to thank Mercedes Miller at the GICC, Chief Williford, and the police department and the Clayton County Sheriff's Department for all of their hard work to make the concert at the GICC on Saturday successful and safe for everyone who attended. I am constantly in awe of your professionalism and what you do to lead our city in that regard. I'm going to piggyback on Councilman Allen. Voting at the GICC has never been easier. Fulton County has actually gotten a website, so you can go online. If you go to fultoncountyga.gov, you can see what the wait times are at every single location where early voting is taking place throughout the county. And the GICC has it down now. I know last Monday was hard. It was very difficult for a lot of different reasons, but I was in and out in less than 10 minutes last Friday. And I know that a lot of people have been experiencing a very smooth process. My husband voted today, said it was as easy as it could be. So I would encourage everybody to get out there. They are open 8 to 6 this week. And then next week, they're going to be open 7 to 7. So make sure you don't have to wait till election day. But for those of you who are voting on election day, please make sure you go to mvp.sos.ga.gov. That is the voting information site through the Secretary of State. Some folks who vote at the College Park Auditorium may actually be voting at the library this time around. They have changed the precincts for a couple of people just to make sure that they have enough voting machines available. So I would encourage you to double check, go online, and make sure you enter your information to confirm your voting location if you choose to vote on election day. But you can just go ahead and forget about all that and vote at the GICC for the next 2 weeks, and you won't have to worry about it. Echoing Councilman Gay's thank yous to the Economic Development Department, communications staff, and everyone who contributed to a great groundbreaking for 6 West. It was a top-notch event, and it was really indicative of all the great things to come in regard to that project. And lastly, after the yard sale, there was this white Camaro that sped down my street. And I thought, well, I need to call the police and let them know that. Except the police were right behind them. And so, Chief, grateful for that, because I'm pretty sure that the officer handled that big muscle car that was speeding down my street. But I know that it has been a concern for a number of folks. I've gotten feedback about that. We certainly heard about that in public comment today. So if you wouldn't mind just sort of letting folks know where things are with that and the department's plans to address it.
I had some words with our command staff earlier today, Madam Mayor. I did not hear the vehicle on Rugby this weekend, but I rode down there this morning and saw the marks where someone had been at Rugby and White and Rugby and Hemphill doing donuts, laying drag marks all over the roadway there. And this is becoming an increasing problem around the city. It's not just us, it's metro-wide. But I had a chat with command staff today, and we're going to move our traffic resources, especially in the evening, to focus on the neighborhoods. I am concerned about some of these people doing these things in residential area, losing control of a vehicle and striking a pedestrian, or ending up in somebody's yard or house.
Certainly.
So we're gonna kind of divert our resources to specifically the neighborhood areas and see if we can stem some of this stuff.
All right. I appreciate it, Chief. And certainly, if you see something about, happening in your neighborhood in regard to this, call, please.
Call. Yes.
Get as good of a description as you can of the vehicle and let our folks know so we can kind of nip it in the bud. I think as was mentioned in public comment, I think the city of Atlanta is kind of cracking down aggressively on it. It's probably forcing some of that south. So we certainly want to address it as well.
Don't hesitate to call 911.
Great. All right. Does anyone else have anything? All right. Hearing nothing, we need to go back into executive session. Didn't wrap it up. So is there a motion?
So moved for real estate, personnel, and litigation.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Allen. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. That is unanimous, gentlemen. So we'll go ahead and go into executive session, and it will be the link that I sent you earlier. So thank you.